Welcome back, tribe. I have an episode here from Noah Time. Calls it an incel rant. Let's get it.
Doors, have you cleaned your room? Have you washed your ass or the asses of others? Did you go to the gym? Are you in bed and you're a little tired? But if you got up and went to the gym right now, you'd feel better after your warm-up set? Or if you slam pre-workout, maybe your pre-workout has caffeine in it, but it's too late, so you don't want to be caffeinated and be up all night. So you will eventually, if you want and if you can, get some caffeine-free pre-workout. And think about that for future endeavors. I'm thinking about that right now. Ty, welcome to Noah Time. That was so fucking meditative for no reason. One thing you often see incels and black pillars specifically say is looks matter. Looks matter. Some of them say looks are everything. Looks are the only thing that matters. I would disagree with those people. But on the looks matter front, that's true. I think that's true. And I think I'm tired of acting like it isn't. I'm not going Joker, guys. I've been researching incels for a video I'm working on my main channel. And I don't know, I'm having some interesting thoughts and feelings about it that I wanted to share here because I can't really get them down on a piece of paper in an organized manner. And that's what you guys are here for. You're here to open your ear holes and let me fill them up with, I guess, whatever I like. And whatever comes out in the comment section that you guys like is what I'm going to use. Saying that looks matter might not sound like a controversial statement. It's like, yeah, of course they do. You know, if you want to date, you're going to need to find someone attractive. The person will want to find you attractive and you'll want to find them attractive, and then you'll be able to date. And if you don't find each other attractive, it's probably not going to work. Pretty simple. It might seem obvious, but I think it's worth talking about and worth saying outright because we have been inundated growing up and in our lives and just in popular culture with kind of truisms about the importance of being kind or
Yep. I'll give you an anecdote. My woman was watching that episode with, I guess in the comment section, his name is Eggman. He's known from back in the day. He still streams on Rumble, I believe, is what I was reading, skimming through the comments. She was agreeing with almost everything he was saying. She said, yep, that's true. Yep, that's true. Most of what he was saying was true. But she also was like, but his mentality, even if he was good looking, because she dated some Chads and they had that doomer mentality too, believe it or not, for whatever reason, childhood trauma, self-belief problems, low self-esteem, it's there. The guy is, physically to the T, but his mentality is so defeatist that he just repels women. So mentality is actually very important. And I've personally seen ugly dudes far uglier than Eggman absolutely crush it at the club. This was pre-COVID, pre-dating apps being adopted widely. So maybe the landscape has changed. But that guy had like the dial on 100 when it came to personality and being funny. He was the center of the room. Okay, so you have to like compensate with something extreme like that. And my girl was saying the same thing, extreme. Well, it depends. Because I asked her, how long would you stay around with guys like this? And then we started getting to the conversation of, okay, well, how much money, how much attraction, right? How good is he in bed? All this stuff in women. Like I was telling you guys on the second channel, women do this calculation in their head of how long they would tolerate the guy. But you know what the brutal truth is? Beyond all this stuff, what's in your pants matters the most. She will put up with the guy on his way to making money. She'll put up with the guy not being the best looking. She will not put up with a guy that does not knock it out of the park sexually. This was confirmed by a bunch of other girlfriends, by girls that I've seen in the past previously. You cannot negotiate that. The most dominant / submissive act between a man and a woman is sex. There are plenty of dudes that fumbled their women that act like super Jack Chad, super alpha mentality, and then go in the bedroom, can't handle business, and it breaks the entire aura, the imagery that guy has built in her mind of the dominant alpha when he pulls down his pants and he's got a worm, not a snake. It's a brutal truth. This goes far because most of the incels are having arguments about like what a guy should look like, how much he should bring to the table, money-wise, all this stuff, just to get a woman's attention. But what they don't know is like to retain a woman is a whole nother ballgame. And then you got the guys that may be a little meek and shy, but they turn into straight demons in the bedroom and will absolutely dickmatize a chick. And it'll be those nerdy dudes with like the glasses, kind of a weird hunch. And he seems a little bit quiet and timid in public, but a girl is just fawning over that dude. When she's looking at him, it's like she's looking through his soul. She just melts in his hand. Yeah, because what that guy does to her in the bedroom. So, yeah, it's a multi-layered problem, but let's let this man continue.
Or compassionate or funny and sort of leaving looks out of the conversation almost as if it's a taboo, which I guess it kind of is. And the reason I think that is because just think about ugly people. When I even say the phrase ugly people, am I being insulting? No, I'm not. There's ugly people in the world. There's beautiful people. There's ugly people. I'm not some like looks or objective type of person. Ugly people exist, and ugly people, if they know that they're ugly, they'll tell you that they're ugly and they'll tell you that it sucks. And that's why, I bring that example up to say that, we use the word ugly in a pejorative manner, in the same way that we use the word fat in a pejorative manner. I say we as in just the broader culture. And I think that's bad, because being fat or being ugly are not inherently bad things. They don't make you a bad person. They don't make you worth less. But in a lot of ways, in the eyes of society, they do. You'll get treated worse if you're fat. You'll get treated worse if you're ugly. It feels to me like there aren't a lot of spaces on the internet where being ugly can be talked about openly, where being ugly and talking about how you're mistreated for that is the center of the conversation.
Well, the whole other side can't even imagine having that conversation. Can you imagine there being a forum for ugly women? Like, they gaslight each other so hard. Everyone's a queen, everyone's a boss babe, everyone is so freaking beautiful, angelic, and she could be like Lizzo and weigh fucking 400 pounds. But you're not allowed to call a fat chick fat. You're not allowed to tell a woman her age. You can't tell a woman that she's not attractive, because there's like a secret contract in society, man. We know most of a woman's value, no matter how much we try to push in an egalitarian direction, is going to be valued based on her look. It is what it is. A woman's job is to maintain her beauty, to preserve her value, to not spread her legs for many men, to stay as pure as she possibly can. And then I'm telling you, it's easy mode. If they're in their 20s, they just pick of the litter, the best guys around. But when they start to get all these fucking tats, when they start to get all this drama and psychological baggage and pumped and dumped, 1,000 cock stare, all this quote experience and finding myself in a bag of dicks and all this shit that they go through, is when they become damaged so far beyond repair that they can't pair bond anymore. They'll never be happy. And that's when men are looking at them and going, I'd rather skip that. We can't have that conversation. You can't. It's literally they consider it misogyny to just tell a woman she's not attractive. You're a hater. They'll gaslight themselves. They'll cope and be like, he's hating. He's just a hating. You have pounds of flab. You look like a pig ready for the slaughter when you're in your bikini. Nobody can be honest with you and tell you, because they're either haters, misogynists, or God, whatever else they'll label you as. Anyways, today they're making up words as we go, year after year. So how do you expect to have a real conversation about attraction when the other side is so far delusional and blowing smoke up each other's ass to such an extent? I mean, go check out any fat or ugly chicks, whatever, bro. TikTok, Instagram, comment section, all that shit is beautiful queen, until you tell a woman she looks like Lizzo. You remind me of Lizzo. Oh, you and Lizzo look alike. And then they go, wait, what do you mean? I don't look like Lizzo. All of a sudden it's offended. We are offended that you would compare us to Lizzo. Oh, you mean the queen? The boss babe? The big, beautiful woman that you were saying? She's so strong, independent, confident in her body. It all switches up, man. It's insane. We can't have an honest conversation. We just can't. Because people's feelings get hurt way too easily today.
Maybe there are, but for me, when I'm just researching, it feels like I have to seek those spaces out. And usually they're not even spaces. There's just like a few, viral Reddit posts or a few viral YouTube videos of people talking about it. And the comments are usually pretty supportive. They're like, this was very brave to open up about. And because it feels like there aren't any spaces to really have those conversations, it's kind of not surprising to me that what you end up with is incels. Incel is a pretty loaded term. So just to clarify, there's a spectrum from incel in its literal definition of involuntarily celibate, which there's no morals attached to that necessarily. It's just someone that is unable to find love or physical attraction from anyone. That basic definition isn't even necessarily gendered. And it's also, I think, very common. It's just people that are having trouble dating and aren't successful. Would many of those people call themselves incels actively? I would think not. And the reason for that is because there's another end of the spectrum of the definition, which is capital I incels, which is your Elliot Rodger types. That was an incel spree killer who killed a bunch of people and hated women and did it because he said he hated women. I shouldn't even say Elliot Rodger types, because Elliot Rodgers are such a small, tiny percentage, the people who actually turn violent because of it. And by that, I mean this more so the misogynistic elements to the, definition, the movement, as it were. I guess that's the difference. One of them is a definition, and one of them is more of a movement, a signifier of a group. I think ugly people and people that are undesired in whatever other ways of physical attraction exist all along that spectrum, which is why it's difficult. Because when I say, it would be good if there were more spaces to talk openly about that, the spaces that do talk about it usually swing it around to being about how it's women's fault and how their standards are too high. And if they just lowered them, then the world would be okay because they'd let them fuck. They'd let them have sex with them. When in reality, if you just talk to people or read what people talk about when they're speaking on loneliness, the vast majority of people that are in that position, the vast majority of men, don't actively take out their resentments about this process on the people in their lives. That's a pretty kind of online niche subculture kind of thing, which is not to say that men resenting women doesn't exist. Obviously, that's a thing. But I mean specifically about actively making content or consuming content or just bringing it up. I don't know. You see messages on dating apps of guys being freaks. It's common, but it's not as common as you'd think. And it's not as common as you might like to believe if you were just watching a bunch of videos about incels all day, which is what I've been doing. And I'm just breaking my brain. So I was really just very small looking. Now I'm big, like Tom Cruise. One narrative you'll see from kind of like centrist spaces on the internet or popular spaces that talk about, that want to talk about men's issues is the idea that the moment a man talks about having a bad date or feeling alone or feeling like he needs physical touch and physical affection, people slap the incel label on him. And you're not allowed to talk about that stuff without being, demonized.
Or called simp.
And in some sense, I think there's that does happen. Like you've seen that happen. The word incel is used as a pejorative, kind of like ugly, and sometimes it's misused in that way. It's the label is applied to someone where it might not be 100% accurate, or I think more commonly it's applied to someone who is maybe showing some elements of misogyny in expressing their frustration, but instead of checking the misogyny specifically, the incel label is applied, slapped onto them, and then the conversation ends there. I don't think it's like caving to their ideology to acknowledge that does happen, but I think what that leaves out is the fact that there's another side of incel culture that does act like that, and that people will understandably be hypersensitive to, especially if they are the targets and the victims of the kind of like incel misogynistic harassment that happens online. So it's kind of like you just, I guess, want to show empathy all across the board, which that's not what the internet is for. So moot point. What I want to try in this video is, two groups of people I want to talk to in the comment section if you want to open up about it. Ugly people or incels, lowercase I. Incels or capital I don't know. Do y'all have a place to go to talk about that shit? If there's somewhere in real life, tell us about it. If there's someone online, really tell us about it, because that's what I'm trying to figure out is if that's even possible to have happen. And with any incels watching, and that's the non-gendered version, the kind of you guys are being normal and good job definition of the word. What are those conversations like online? Have you tried to have them? If so, do people freak out? Do people agree? Have you caught yourself being misogynistic or resentful towards women? Or I guess, misandrous towards men, if that's been your experience? Not in a like confess your sins kind of way. Because, I don't give a fuck. I think the more important thing is trying to figure out how we can hold space for people to like do that and work through the bad elements of those resentments and bring us to a healthier place. And I don't know what that looks like, but maybe
you have to create a space for men to be able to gather and speak their mind and not be judged and feel like they're part of something, at least a group, a community that shares in their pain, has empathy, guys they respect and consider friends or mentors, and allowing them to open up this way. They get past the anger phase, then they are receptive to, say, some prescriptions like, okay, bro, now that you got all the rage out, now that you just literally raged out on your post of how much you hate this, that, and the other, here's what we need to do. This is what I did to help me out. So you're going to have to start working out because we got to get some mood regulation going. Like we got to get all the chemicals in your brain set up correctly through physical exercise. Then we're going to have to do something like for mental strength, like start doing cold showers, for example. You need to do something painful that puts you in the present moment. Forget about dwelling on the past or the future, shit like that, right? So you need to get physically strong, mentally strong. Then we got to heal you spiritually in some way. Maybe you need to go out hiking in nature. You need to go somewhere like a national park where you can go to the peak of a mountain or somewhere with strong ranging waters, like a waterfall, something like that. So you can just realize just how small you are and how insignificant problems can be. And there's like a step-by-step process that you could walk these people because we've all been frustrated before. We've all had to figure out how to deal with our problems. But some of these guys, man, they're just stuck in an endless loop nonstop having access to this shit. And for men that have this surgically attached to their hands or a computer, they manifest this shit in, say, incel culture, like a girl would become addicted to social media, for example. So you go through, unfortunately, because these communities are driven more and more underground, they're banned all the time. Only the most extreme of the extreme views are fostering in these underground internet spaces. And when it swallows up somebody that's just teetering on the edge, that's kind of looking for answers, that is just a few good prescriptions away from turning everything around, they fall down the rabbit hole of the extreme views and they're just wallowing like a pig in shit in all the worst negative confirmation bias content that they could possibly find. And it's unfortunate. This is how people get radicalized, right? Echo chambers and shit like that. So I've already met some of these dudes myself. I had some of them join the community, have them DM me. They had similar problems, kind of extreme views. Guys from the public Discord too, though. And the answer has always been the same thing. Just do this and this for me. Keep at it for months. Email me your progress. I'll read everyone and respond to it. I swear to you. I took a couple of these guys on as a project. And guess what happened? After a couple of months, they go, yeah, you're right. Oh, wow. I started slimming up. Wow. I was dressing nicer. And once my body got right, like one guy went through a whole process, bro. Like not a whole year, but damn near close. He completely changed his body. He had abs. He had a bit of a skinny fat look, which was like the worst one to possibly have. So dude got abs, put on some muscle, all newbie gains in that year. He never worked out. And I told him, I was like, if you're willing to do everything I tell you to do, then I'll put in the effort to respond to all your emails, ask, me any questions. I'll answer them. And I want to see your progress. So you got to send me pictures. You got to detail everything out, how shit's going. And, at the end of every month, like sit rep with me and let me know. Sure enough, bro, this guy transformed his life. He looks completely different. He started dressing well, and his mentality, his mood shifted completely because of the confidence of how he looked. The fact that he was able to stay on a program for so long made his brain believe that he can do other things. If he can do this, he never saw himself as this person until he actually went and walked the walk. Now his mentality couldn't be any more different. Dude has a girl, multiple girls he's had already, but now he has a girl which he's like consistent with, and his life couldn't be any more different. Now, if you asked him, like, could you have imagined this life a year ago? He would have told you, no, I'm dying alone. There's no point. Why should I even try? The game is tilted against me. And it's like, it's the same shit that a lot of these guys go through. I've said it, and I've said it multiple times before. Dude, we've had these guys on the private community and especially the old public Discord. They're good looking dudes. One guy that blew me away looked like he could be a cover model, but his mentality was straight toxic. I mean, the dude was ripped already. There's like, you look at this guy physically and you're like, oh yeah, Chad. He even had a strong jawline. And I was looking at this guy, I'm like, this guy's struggling to get laid? What the fuck? Until he started posting and I'm like, oh wow, this guy's so far gone up here that no woman is going to want to hear anything that he said. The moment he speaks something, he's going to creep them out. And the guy had everything, physically speaking. This matters, man, more than you could ever believe. If you want to think this. If women are slaves to their feelings, then shouldn't you become a master of the feels? In other words, how you make a woman feel is the most important thing of all as a man. If you could get a woman to feel anything you want her to, do you not by extension have control? Just think about that for me. It's not manipulation. It's just giving them what they want. They want a roller coaster of emotion. If you figure out how to fucking drive that roller coaster and give them the emotions they want, the ups and the downs, she will be wrapped around your finger. Curious on your guys' thoughts on this topic, especially the guys that have gone through the transformations, because even the comments in the last video, they'll say like, it's impossible, no way, just work out, bro, just grow a chin and jawline, bro. It's a lot of doomer mentality, defeatist mentality. Men have been defeated today. I think there's weakness in a man's mentality more today than any other time in history, and it's what's causing all these problems. The disconnect between what a man is supposed to be, what masculinity is, the feminization of men, treating our boys in schools like they're defective girls, putting them on like PTSD, not PTSD, but attention deficit disorder, ADHD medication, all that, Ritalin and all that, frying the wiring in their brains as they become older. Single mother households that are proliferating throughout the West, fathers no longer present. All this stuff is combining into ultimately seeding a man with a weak mind. And when you have a man with a weak mind, you have a man that's defeated or has a defeatist mentality. A defeated man will never attempt to rise up above his lower basal instincts or position in life. There's no competitive, there's no fire in him. If you can build a society of these men, you've conquered society. If you're an elite, trying to subjugate the world. These are the exact kinds of men you want. These defeatist doomers. They'll never rise up. And it's weird because you read the comment section and say, I can't wait for it all to burn down. I can't wait for society to change and like the uprising and the revolt. What revolt, bro? You, the doomer, and your doomer clan are going to revolt and do anything? You're all busy playing Black Ops 6, checking out, not giving society an inch of your time, a minute, a second of it. No effort is being put in. All withdrawing into themselves, becoming hermits. Can't wait for the sex bots, shit like that. Like, you are exactly what they want to make more of. You are the very thing they have been trying for decades to create, and they're finally becoming successful, that these men are proliferating wholesale. You want to be based? You want to be red pill? Then you have to go against that programming that they're trying to instill in all of you. That's all I'm saying, dude. If it's a giant shit test, the way you fucking pass it is by succeeding, despite them trying to stack all the odds against you. I don't know. That's how I've seen it personally. I was a hermit too, like you guys. I used to game all day like you guys. I was pimple faced, like bad acne, needed Accutane, scared to talk to girls. I thought I was fucking ugly, I was skinny as shit, rail thin. The wind could blow me in half. I mean, you guys have no idea. You think like all this shit and it's like, oh, he was just blessed. He had women left and right, all this stuff. No, dude, this was a journey. I treated my life like the video games I played. I needed to level up my character in every aspect. I needed speed. I needed stamina, intelligence, charisma, all that shit, because I had fucking zero. The only thing I had on me was I was tall, lanky fuck. That was it. And not even that tall. 6'2". There's plenty of guys that are walking around 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", with builds far better than mine. Then didn't look up at them and go, oh shit, what's the point in trying now? You know what I mean? I don't know. You can't give up. That's the only time you'll ever fail, is when you give up. Everything else is a part of the process on the way to success. If you want more of these style rants, the self-improvement talk, all that shit, a community of men, go join us on the second channel. Subscribe to the private community. I literally host calls like 5 times a week. We literally get into topics like this. How to keep men right. How to build a path towards your goals. How to put one foot in front of the other every single day. We're making real progress. It just takes time. Anywho, enough ranting. We'll see you on the next one, boys. Take care of yourselves. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Hello to everybody else that'll catch this Monday. Peace out.